You check your bank account, $742. Rent is due in 9 days. Credit card bill, $1,380. Car insurance just hit. And you're telling yourself, once I save $10,000, I'll finally feel stable. But every month something happens. A wedding, a car repair, a small Amazon order that wasn't small, a random expense that wipes out whatever progress you made. And you start thinking, maybe I'm just bad with money. Maybe saving $10,000 just isn't realistic. Maybe that number is for other people. Look, if you've ever felt like the first $10,000 is this massive, impossible mountain, but somehow people who already have money seem to build more of it almost effortlessly, yeah, we need to talk. Shh. My name is Mark, and I spend way too much time thinking about wealth-building psychology and financial behavior. If you're someone who feels stuck living paycheck to paycheck, struggling to build your first real savings cushion, make sure to hit the subscribe button and give this video a thumbs up if this helps you out. Here's the thing. The first $10,000 isn't hard because you're bad with money. It's hard because you're fighting math, psychology, and your environment all at once. But once you understand what's actually happening, the game changes. And this is where it gets really interesting. Most people think saving is about discipline. If I just had more willpower, if I stopped buying coffee, if I tracked every penny perfectly. But here's what most people don't realize. The first $10,000 is the hardest because it's built almost entirely from behavior, not from momentum. There's no compounding helping you yet. There's no meaningful investment growth. There's no system advantage. It's just you versus your spending habits. According to the Federal Reserve Survey of Consumer Finances, the median transaction account balance for households under 35 is under $5,000. That means half of people under 35 don't even have $5,000 in liquid cash. So if you're struggling to get to $10,000, you're not weird, you're normal. And that's exactly why it feels impossible. Let's do some basic math. Let's say you make $4,000 per month after taxes. Your fixed expenses, rent, $1,500, utilities, $200, car payment plus insurance, $500, groceries, $500, subscriptions plus phone plus mist, $300, that's $3,000 gone. You have $1,000 left. Now factor in eating out, GANs, random expenses, social events, unexpected repairs. Realistically, maybe you can save $400 per month if you're trying. At $400 per month, it takes 25 months to save $10,000. That's over 2 years. 2 years of consistency. 2 years of saying no. 2 years of not blowing up your progress. Of course it feels impossible, because it's slow, and humans hate slow progress. Behavioral economists like Daniel Kahneman, author of Thinking Fast and Slow, explain that humans are wired for immediate reward. If the reward isn't visible or quick, we lose motivation. Saving your first $10,000 is like pushing a car that won't start. You're applying effort, you're sweating, nothing seems to move. And because the balance is small, the gains are small. Let's say you invest that $10,000 and earn 8% annually, roughly the long-term historical average of the S&P 500. That's $800 in a year. But if you only have $1,000 invested, 8% is $80. Psychologically, $80 doesn't feel life-changing. $800 starts to feel meaningful. This is why the early stage feels brutal. You're working hard, the numbers aren't impressive, and the dopamine reward system in your brain isn't satisfied. Now let's fast forward. You've built your first $10,000. Something changes. First, you have proof. You're no longer someone trying to save. You're someone who saved $10,000. Identity shift. And identity is powerful. Research from behavioral psychology consistently shows that identity-based habits are more durable than motivation-based habits. When you see yourself as a saver or an investor, your decisions change automatically. But here's the bigger shift momentum. Let's say that $10,000 is invested. At 8%, it grows by $800 in year 1. But now you're still adding $400 per month. That's $4,800 per year plus growth. Now your net worth might increase by $5,600 to $6,000 in a year. And as the base grows, the growth grows. At $50,000 invested, 8% is $4,000 per year. That's $333 per month without you doing anything. That's almost another you contributing to the savings. This is where it gets really interesting. Money starts working. The first $10,000 is built while your fixed costs dominate your life. After that, you start building a growth engine. Let me explain. In the beginning, your savings rate determines everything. Later, your savings rate plus returns determine everything. Eventually, returns dominate. When you hit $100,000 invested at 8%, that's $8,000 per year. That's serious. Now imagine you're still adding $6,000 per year. You're gaining $14,000 annually. Suddenly, $50,000 doesn't feel impossible. It feels mechanical. Now, you might be thinking, okay, Mark, but the real reason it gets easier is people make more money. Yes, but that's only part of the story. Income growth often follows skill compounding. According to data from the US Bureau of Labor Statistics, median weekly earnings rise significantly with age and experience, especially between ages 25 and 45. Your first $10,000 is often built at your lowest earning stage. Your next $50,000? Often built during your higher earning years. But here's what most people don't realize. If you don't build the saving habit early, income growth won't save you. Lifestyle inflation will eat it. You get a raise. Instead of investing $500 more per month, you upgrade your apartment, upgrade your car, upgrade your vacations, and suddenly you're still stuck at zero. The Journal of Consumer Research has repeatedly shown that spending rises proportionally with income in most households. Without intentional friction, you spend what you earn. That's why the first $10,000 is so critical. It forces constraint. It forces discipline. It builds the muscle. Talk about something psychological. When a number feels far away, the brain categorizes it as abstract. $10,000 feels abstract when you have $742. But once you hit $5,000, $10,000 feels near. Behavioral finance research calls this the goal gradient effect. We accelerate effort as we perceive ourselves getting closer to a goal. That's why the first half is the hardest. Once you're halfway, motivation increases. You're no longer climbing a mountain, you're finishing a hike. I once spoke to a guy who told me, saving $10,000 took me 3 years. Saving the next $40,000 took 2. Why? 3 reasons. 1. His income increased. 2. His habits were automated. 3. His investments were compounding. He said something I'll never forget. The first $10,000 felt like punishment. The next $40,000 felt like progress. That's the shift. Let's get tactical. 1. Automate immediately set up automatic transfers the day after payday. Even $200 per paycheck. Remove decision making. Decision fatigue kills savings. 2. Lower fixed costs. First, cutting lattes won't change your life. Lowering rent by $200, refinancing a car, negotiating insurance, that's leverage. Focus on fixed costs. They compound monthly. 3. Increase income strategically. Don't just work more. Develop skills with wage leverage. Certifications, negotiation, switching companies. Income jumps often happen through job changes, not annual raises. Top. Track net worth. Not just savings. Watching net worth grow is motivating. It shifts you from scarcity to ownership thinking. Invest early, even while building. Keep emergency savings in cash. But invest once the base is secure. Compounding needs time more than it needs perfection. Here's what most people don't realize. The first $10,000 isn't about the money. It's about proving to yourself that you can delay gratification consistently. It's about shifting identity. It's about building a system. Once that system exists, scaling it is easier than starting it. Starting is friction. Scaling is math. Look, you are not behind. You are not broken. You are not bad with money. You are just in the hardest phase of wealth building. The invisible phase. The phase where effort is high and visible progress is low. But if you push through this stage, the gain changes, momentum builds, identity shifts, compounding kicks in, and one day you'll look at your account and realize the number that once felt impossible is now your floor. If this helped you understand why the first $10,000 feels so hard and why that's actually normal, hit the like button. Subscribe if you're serious about building real wealth, and tell me in the comments, how close are you to your first $10,000? Because I promise you this, once you cross that line, you'll never see money the same way again.